we have a wonderful Jesus. And the Bible says, the neighbors therefore, and they which before had seen him, that he was blind, said, is not this he that sat and begged? See, here's the man, right? He was sitting begging. He had his cane. Now, guess what? The man, when he came back from the pool, he didn't want this anymore. He just took this and he threw it away. He took the shades off. The man could see now. Now the man is dressed. Okay, everybody watch him. Say, hey, isn't that the man that was blind that sat there begging? Here's what's going to happen. There's a problem because Jesus made clay on the Sabbath. Think about it. Just as a spittle with some clay on the Sabbath day is going to create a lot of problems for Jesus, to the point where they're going to call him a sinner. They're going to call him all kinds of names. You listen up. Listen to what happens. Therefore said they unto him, how would thine eyes open? That's the big question. Some of them said, this is he. Others said that it's like him. But the man said, I am that man. I am the man that sat there. This man was happy. He was grateful, And he answered and said, a man that is called Jesus made clay, and he anointed my eye, and he said unto me, go to the pool of Siloam and wash. And I went and I washed, and I received my sight. And then they said unto him, where is he? And he said, I don't know. I don't know. This man, he just came and he just did this. And he just told me to go wash. I did that, and here I am, a brand new man with brand new eyes. 20/20 vision, I can see perfectly. Now, this is a miracle indeed, but we have a problem because it was done on the Sabbath day. Jesus has a way of performing miracles on the Sabbath day, and it keeps getting him into trouble. But, Jesus really doesn't mind. Jesus wants to get people off of this Sabbath day religious belief thing. The Sabbath, of course, is holy. Now, the Pharisees now are going to question the man who was healed. The Bible says in verse 13, John 9:13, they brought to the Pharisees him that was blind. And it was the Sabbath day when Jesus made the clay and opened his eyes. Then again the Pharisees also asked him how he had received his sight. And he said unto them, he put clay unto mine eyes, and I wash, and here it is, I see. Okay? Now the man is getting pretty fired up here, and he's getting pretty angry because these Pharisees keep asking him the same question over and over again. And he doesn't really like it. This man he just wants to enjoy this new life that he has. And this happens sometimes when we convert from a terrible situation and come into God's light, and we have these other people challenging us about this new Christian life, and we really don't really appreciate it. We want to just live this new Christian life, and we continually have these people trying to pull us back into the old life, and we don't want it, and we get pretty frustrated. And they said unto the blind man again, what sayest thou of him that he had opened thine eyes? And he said, he is a prophet. The man's getting straight to the point. Listen, I was born blind. Never had anyone seen this done before. Here comes a man, made some clay, put it in my eyes, tell me go wash, and now I see. This man, there's got to be a prophet. In John chapter 4 and verse 19, the Samaritan woman, she begins to talk to Jesus, and Jesus tells her about all her husbands and everything else. And eventually, at the end of the discourse, she says, hey, listen, this man has got to be a prophet. You are indeed a prophet. Even in the 7th chapter of John, verse 40, remember at the Feast of Tabernacles, they heard Jesus speak, they heard some miracles, they saw the miracles, and there was a big confusion. And some of them did in fact admit, this man is a prophet. So, the talk keeps getting around that Jesus is a prophet. He is the one that we've been waiting for. Verse 18 says, but the Jews did not believe concerning him that he had been blind. We got a problem coming up. There's going to be a problem coming up right here. And they received the sight. Until they called his parents of him that had received his sight. See, what happens is here, they did not believe that this is the man that was blind. So they had to call the parents. But they set a perimeter up already. Because I'll read for you in a minute. The Bible says that they had already made a decree that anyone who would confess Jesus to be that Christ, they would be thrown out of the synagogue. So here it is. They're going to ask the parents, is this your son is this the man that was blind? If the parents should say yes and confess Jesus, they'll be thrown out of the synagogue. And that wasn't a very nice thing, to be thrown out of the synagogue. So listen to what it says. Verse 19. And they asked them, saying, is this your son, who ye say was born blind? How then that he now see? They want these questions answered so that they can come to some decision concerning Jesus and even the blind man. But his parents answered them and said, we know that this is our son and that he was born blind. Hey, listen, they're very scared now. And I can imagine they were probably trembling. They said, look, this is our son. We know he was born blind. But you see, how he got his sight, we really don't know. That's what they're saying. But by what means he now see, we don't know. Or what had opened his eyes, we don't know. He is of age. You ask him. Let him speak for himself. See, what they've done there, they have protected their attendance. See, they wanted to continue in the synagogue. If they had said anything more than that, they would have been thrown out of the synagogue. And who knows what else. They might have been prosecuted as well. These words spoke his parents, the Bible says in verse 22, because they feared the Jews, for the Jews had agreed already that if any man did confess that he was the Christ, he should be put out of the synagogue. Told you so. See, and this is what happened. Therefore said his parents, he is of age. Go ask him. See, don't ask us anything anymore, because we just want to be, just quiet